Say out. Oop, it stopped. Spin coach forward. And you're on.
Hello, 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 and good afternoon, Greater Akron and beyond. I am Coach Kent Boyd here to hopefully just host another great encounter here at Love Akron Live.
Where you
Love
at,
Akron
Daddy?
Live is an encountering platform to where, man, we use the secret sauce, our secret power of love to connect and convene and to collaborate with change makers here in Greater Akron that are doing some really great things to bring about a collective impact so that Greater Akron can thrive. And so, man, my guest list today is, man, absolutely awesome and superb. And it's a great way for us to end our year here at Love Akron Live. And so, man, we have on Dr. Smith, who's going to come on and kind of give us kind of a year-end report on COVID, the vaccine, and man, what we can be looking forward to going into 2020. We have on Megan Clyden, who is the CEO over at Red Oak Behavioral Health, to kind of tell us what she's excited about as she moves in and her organization into 2022. We have in Tracy Carter. Tracy Carter, man, is a man. Look, she's not just a volunteer for Love Akron, but Tracy Carter is, man, all that needs to be known about what's happening and going on in Akron. And so she's going to come and give us an update on the grief recovery method and kind of all of the highs that come along with it, but also forecasting what's ahead for the grief recovery method here at Love Akron and here in the greater Akron area. So, and then last but not least is my friend, my brother, Greg Kobik, who is the CEO over at Rahab Ministries. And so excited to catch up with him to see, man, how the transitional housing program work out and how's it continue to thrive and to help women go from some of their things they're doing and to start another journey of their life. So, and he's also going to tell me, man, what are the exciting things that are going on at Rahab Ministries as the year approaches, not only to an end, but going into 2022. So again, I am Coach Kemp, and let me be the first to tell you, man, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and also Happy New Year. So enjoy your time. If you haven't done your gift giving, listen, you can send all gifts to Coach Kemp at Love Akron, P.O. Box 2971, Akron, Ohio. I know everybody's looking to give me a gift out there now. And like we just talked about backstage, I love the poly blend. Poly blend hoodies and shirts, that's my thing. I'm telling y'all, that's what I want. Or like my brother Greg would say, hey man, Cole Haans, I wear 12. No, I need a 12 and a half in the Cole Haan game, all right? So all jokes aside, really excited about being with you. And thank you all so much for making 2021 for us here at Love Akron just a great, great year and a great season. We went through some storms, but man, we like to say at Love Akron, we have that palm tree bounce back ability, right? And so the reason why I say it is that, man, oak trees are huge, they're big, and they're strong, right? But if the right storm comes across and there's the right type of wind, that oak tree is going to fall down under it. But palm trees, even though they're not as big as an oak, maybe not as wide and look as strong, look, man, they were made to where they can bend under the pressure. And once that storm is gone and it's alleviated, they're able to bounce back to posture. So here at Love Akron, we got that bounce back type of spirit, even in the midst of some of the storms and the problems that we may face each and every day, man. So I'm very thankful for that. And I'm thankful for you and for your prayers and just how you have continued to love Akron alongside us. So thank you so much for that. So no need to delay. I want to bring on our first guest. It's Dr. Smith, who is our resident, I'm just going to say it. He's our resident doctor here at Love Akron because he's loving Akron through the Adam Board of Summit County. So, Dr. Smith, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Man, you know what? I'm ready to go. I got my tinsel up behind me. I'm in the Christmas spirit. I'm ready to go, and I'm all into it. But, you know, Doctor, I brought you on because I just kind of want you to give us kind of a year-end update as far as, man, COVID, the vaccine. I know we had different variances that we've experienced on this year. But, man, tell us, Doctor, where are we and what do we have to look forward to as we go into 2022?
Well, I'll start with kind of where we're at, and I'll end with some optimism because I think we should be very optimistic about 2022. And really, I mean, we've weathered the storm already now through 2020 and 2021. And yes, there's been a lot of negativity around the COVID epidemic and so forth. But I think maybe what I'm hearing is things are heading the right direction. So let me just give you first, I'll kind of go negative and end with positive. And obviously, if questions come up, I'm happy to answer those. So we, unfortunately, at this point, we have now experienced over 50 million, with an M, 50 million cases of COVID in the United States of all the variants. And we've had about 800,000 deaths. So that's horrible. That's really way beyond the death rate, actually, of the 1917, 1918 previous pandemic. And so it's not going the right direction. Granted, the population is bigger now, but still it's a problem. We saw great progress, and people, I think, with people getting vaccinated, people using hand wash or Purell type gels, people were wearing masks. We dropped down to an Ohio average, a 7-day average of 211 cases per day, right around July 11th. So in the summer, we had actually dropped down. Unfortunately, as of today's data, we are now, and again, 211 per day average, we are now at almost 7,600 cases per day. And that actually, there's been a 55% jump in cases just in the last 17 days.
Wow.
So that's the negative side of things. We're in the wrong direction right now. To bring it home, Summit County has now had a total of about 80,000 cases just in Summit County. Out of 542,000 citizens, that's a lot of people,
Yes.
which means all of us have been affected, right? We all know people have had COVID, and we've dealt with that. Some have been hospitalized. Some, unfortunately, have passed away around that. Many actually have been asymptomatic. That's the other piece. There's probably many more than 80,000. We don't know those individuals often because they've not actually been shown to have COVID, and that's about 40%. Is what the government scientists are estimating. About 40% of people who get COVID don't even know they had COVID. So that 80,000, using that kind of math, could be 120,000 or something like that in that order. So let me just remind you about vaccinations. That, as we've said previously, we have known how to vaccinate and develop these since 1798. And as we said one time before, I was pretty young. In 1798, so that's a long time ago that we've had the knowledge. And then since 1953, we've understood the double helix of the DNA. And beyond that time, we've moved into RNA and, of course, messenger RNA. And that's how the newest vaccines were developed, Pfizer and Moderna in particular, Johnson & Johnson using a different method. And they have been amazingly effective. So I don't want to minimize that. So they really have been very effective. And in fact, in the real world, at least for 6 months, they have proven more effective, if you look at the math, than the 95% that they said they were going to protect against. So they've actually been extremely effective. We now are hearing that the antibody effect may wane, may go away somewhat, or at least lessen around the 6-month mark after your second shot of Moderna or Pfizer, or 6 months after the Johnson & Johnson one-time injection, all of which are still available to the public. The new variant, the Omicron variant, is starting to make headway. That variant may be less benefited by the two vaccines, actually. So this data seems to show that people who have had both vaccines, Omicron may be able to infect them more easily than even Delta, which is still the dominant variant. But 97% of cases are Delta. Almost none of them are Alpha, which was the original variant that we learned about way back in early 2020, just to give you a sense of that. And I'm not up on my Latin, but there's a lot of letters there that could be had along the way. So the positive thing is that the data, and Dr. Fauci just reviewed this as well and talked about it just yesterday. It appears that getting a booster shot actually brings the benefit back up to a pretty high level, even against Omicron. Now, a lot of this is out there. I'm seeing every day. I've been watching this because I knew I was going to talk to this excellent audience today, and it's conflictual. So I can't tell you definitive because I'm seeing the same conflict you are. But what I can tell you is that Omicron only hit the United States on or about November 15th. So not very long ago, about a month ago. It has already been detected in 35 states in the United States and 77 countries. So it is moving faster than even Delta moved. That's really the story I'm telling you. On the positive side, it appears that the reason it's doing that is that it has mutated so much. These variants are all mutations of the original COVID-19. And this one is mutated so much, it's actually adapted somewhat like standard cold viruses that we've all been subject to in our lives. So the negative is that means we can spread it more easily.
Okay.
The positive is it appears, and so far the data, most recently from South Africa, where they had this first, seems to show less severe disease. So we may get it easier. Doesn't mean you'll feel well. You may very well not feel well for a number of days, but it seems to be, and I say seems because it's just too early. Again, we've only known about it for a month. It seems to be less likely to have you end up in the hospital or to die from it, which of course is the bottom line. We don't want anybody, we don't lose any more people. We've lost way too many loved ones and citizens and so forth over this time. From a vaccine point of view, I'll just give you the data a bit. So Ohio, as of today, Ohio's about 54% fully vaccinated. More than that have actually received at least one of the shots. United States is at about 61%, with about 16% having received boosters. Worldwide, so we're better than what the world's doing. Worldwide, it's about 46.6%. But just again about vaccine safety, let me be clear. 3.6 billion with a B people have now received fully vaccination, 2 shots or 1 shot if it's J&J around the world. At least 4.4 billion have received at least 1 dose. And my point is, if there were major side effects, we would know it.
Yeah.
You can't escape if half the world has received at least 1 shot, which is accurate based on the math. At least half the world population, whether it's the back Aboriginal regions of Australia or right here in downtown Akron in an urban setting and everything in between, we would know if these were dangerous. I really, from the science perspective, that is not controversial. I want to be clear about that. The vaccines are safe. Currently, as of actually today, right now, they are doing vaccines on a drive-through basis over at Summit County Public Health Building, same building as the ADM board's in. After today, they're going to switch to using online pre-registration. So please just note, so you know that if you want to go get a vaccine or a booster, you'll need to go onto the Summit County Public Health website and you can sign up to go in. Obviously, pharmacies and other places also are giving all of these vaccines, and you can go through those websites as well. And I think there's links still on the public health website. So just so people are aware of that. The other thing I'll mention real quickly, and then I'll see if there's questions, is that the South African study seems to show that there's at least a 70% protection against hospitalization in fully vaccinated people, that is without boosters. So again, that speaks to the likelihood that it's less dangerous of an illness, but it's still of concern because that means there are some people still getting hospitalized. And it's a little bit unclear if one person may have died from Omicron. I've seen conflicting reports, but it's early again. The other thing is, if you were to get Omicron, you're most likely to feel fatigue and maybe body aches, which is common for any virus, and then a cough, a congestion, a runny nose. So again, that sounds a lot like a cold in a lot of ways, other than maybe as much fatigue. So just be aware that if you get anything like that, it might actually be COVID because it's different. We're not seeing the GI symptoms, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea that we saw as much in some of the other variants. We're not seeing as much headache or sore throat, and even breathing issues don't seem to be as dominant so far. Again, we're a month into it. Which is good. That would be one of the reasons it isn't as likely to put you in the hospital. But please, if anybody develops these symptoms, get tested and make sure you're getting help if you need the help. Because if you need the help, we want to see you get the right help and feel better. So let me end on a more positive note. So one is that the booster seems to make a difference. So, one is that if you're vaccinated, 70% likelihood, not good as 95%, but 70% is still better than many other vaccines that we all have already received for other illnesses. So 70% chance you won't end up hospitalized. That's excellent news. So please get vaccinated. Or if you want to get boosted, that increases that closer to the 95%. The other thing is they've just announced a study from Pfizer, which makes one of the vaccines, that they've actually invented a new antiviral drug, which is something we don't have much of in our society yet. Just the science has been really hard to figure out how to deal with all viruses, that appears to reduce hospitalization or death among high-risk people, so people with a lot of other physical comorbidities, by 89%. That's awesome. So they're going to be looking at that now through the FDA. The government already believes it's going to work. I just saw that President Biden has ordered 10 million doses or something even before it's been approved. So they put together. So that is really positive. That not only will we have vaccine, we still have wearing masks, which I still encourage people to do if you're going to be around other people, vaccinated or not, because of the Omicron virus. And using the Purell or washing your hands, and then, of course, the 6 foot or more distance. My belief, and I've not seen this anywhere, so this is just the world according to Dr. Smith, is that if it's more like a cold virus, it is now more likely to spread on surfaces and with handshakes than the previous variants. Remember, we've mostly relied on masks and social spacing or social distancing. It's really physical distancing, 6 foot apart, and not so much that we believe it's been on surfaces, which started when COVID came out, but we realized that wasn't the big way of spreading it. If Omicron is indeed more like a cold virus, that means if you shake someone's hand, you ought to go Purell, and nobody should be offended that you went in Purell right after you shook their hand. Please, don't turn that into a rudeness thing. That's a safety factor for both parties. And again, the mask piece, we had our ADM board meeting just last night, and we all wore masks. It's just the right thing to do if you're going to have people in a room together. And again, we've gotten, although maybe annoyed by it, used to it. So, and then the final positive thing is this may be the natural evolution of COVID, that it will gradually become more and more like a cold virus, and maybe therefore it will become part of our normal cold and flu season, but not something that we're worried about killing people. So I'll end with that. There's other options about how, obviously by theory, but that's the big update today. So I think there's room for positive thinking, but I would say still everybody should be on their guard with masks, 6 foot apart, social spacing, and hand washing.
Man, Doctor, I appreciate that. Appreciate you journeying with us throughout the year of 2021 and kind of giving us these updates. The one question that came in was this: how young now can you be to receive the vaccine?
Oh, great question. So I believe now at least you can go down to age 5.
Age 5,
to get the vaccine. So they are actually, I've seen they're studying even 6-month-olds. But you can imagine that getting anybody to enroll their 6-month-old into a study is a chore. So however, I have seen, interestingly, women that are pregnant, they wrestle, should I get vaccinated? And again, my read of the science now, especially with 4.4 billion having received at least one shot and close to 4 billion receiving both shots, many of them, of course, were pregnant. There's a lot of pregnancy out there out of that many people. The positive of that is it would probably then give antibodies that would go through the umbilical cord and so forth into the newborn. So the newborn might actually be born with antibodies and be protected against COVID, just like they're protected against many other illnesses. When any of us were first born, we all came out with a lot of protection. And so my read, and again, consult with your OBGYN if you're concerned about it, is you could in fact get vaccinated while you're pregnant, and that might convey protection to your unborn child. So that'll fill some of that gap in that up 0 to 5 age group. But many people, I know many actually now who have had their children vaccinated. Personally, I know them, and it's gone very well. Often actually even less side effects than some of us somewhat older people get when we get the vaccine or the second shot in particular. And I should also say the booster, similarly, if people are wondering about that, indeed, people who get the booster shot, because it's triggering your immune system, do often have a few hours or maybe a day of downtime, fatigue, not feeling great. But then in my case, if people get it, you bounce right back and then you're going to be protected. And now it does take some time for your body to have full protection, but it appears to be worthwhile based on the current science.
Okay. Well, Dr. Smith, thanks so much, as always, for being on with us. Hey, man, you and your family have a great holiday season, and we
You
look
too,
forward to seeing you in
definitely.
2022.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. Happy New Year to everybody, and happy holidays.
All right, you too now. Happy New Year. Man, that was just awesome information again from Dr. Smith, man. We really appreciate his time throughout the course of this year and also going into 2022. Hopefully that information for you is helpful as you make decisions about, man, whether it's travel, whether it's the holiday season, where you're going and who you haven't. But the one thing he did say is please take and carry your mask with you. And so we want to help to do everything we can to keep one another healthy so that we can continue to love Akron. And this is the way that we want to be able to do that and show that to you. So we're going to move right along in our show today and bring on our next guest. Our next guest needs no introduction. She is a great friend of mine, and also the leader, if you will, of Red Oak Behavioral Health, and that is one Megan Clyden, who has been, man, a friend of mine now for years. And so I'm great to bring her on and just, man, find out what's going on at the Acorn that is Red Oak. So looking forward to talking to her and talking about what are some of the impactful things that had happened along in 2021 with Red Oak, and then, man, what she's excited about moving forward. So Megan, good afternoon.
Hey friend, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm digging the art in the back.
Yeah,
Behind
well,
you.
see,
I
you're
love
in
it.
my office today, so you never know where you're gonna land when you come and play in Megan's sandbox. So today we're in the office.
Do you still have the favorite thing that I loved about your office in your office? Is it still there? The little container with all the nice treats.
Okay. Come now, you come visit me. I always got my can of sweet treats.
Yes.
Full of chocolate, ready for you.
Yes. Hey, well, Megan, I want you just to give us a little bit of your time, and we appreciate you coming on. We know that you're busy and it's end of the year, and I know you guys are getting ready to close up and you're getting ready to travel with your family. So I want to make sure I get you in. But man, I feel like I need to have you come on, first of all, just to kind of give us an overview of some of the successes that Red Oak was able to experience on this year, but also looking forward into 2022. What is it that Megan Clyden, the CEO of Red Oak, what are you excited about for your organization, but also for Greater Akron?
Yeah. So I mean, 2020, I feel like 2021 has been, man, probably one of the longest years and one of the shortest years all at the same time, right? So I feel like it's kind of crazy to think about the fact that we're at the end almost of the year. Those of us who have been living through this pandemic as leaders of organizations, particularly in the nonprofit or social service sector, I feel a little bit like we've lost a sense of time. It's like 2020. Did that year happen? How are we at the end of 2021? So I think, for me, some of the greatest successes that have happened here at Red Oak in this past year have really revolved around our people. We're in the helping profession. So our job is to provide mental health treatment, prevention, intervention, screening, and support for kids and families. And the need that has emerged in this past year has been profound. We're looking at numbers that are anywhere between double to 2.5 times what we would see in a traditional year in terms of kids being referred in for care. And the fact that our staff have stepped up to that challenge, helped to train and onboard new staff who have come in to help pick up that additional work and the needs of those additional children has been incredible. We have just had a team of folks who have been enormously resilient, supportive of one another, stepped into the space of providing treatment in new and innovative ways, whether that is in group sessions via telehealth and meeting with kids asynchronously or synchronously through a format like a DoxyMe. We have had staff who have just showed enormous flexibility and grit and grace here at the agency. And so, we have met the goals and expectations of our strategic plan. We just launched a new one that began in July of this year. And so I'm really excited for what comes next. When I think about what's on the horizon, we will see increased expansion, certainly, to our school-based services. So we added in 2 brand new districts to our portfolio this year of folks that are now receiving an embedded mental health service as part of their school day. We've had far more requests than those 2. And so we already are anticipating at least 2 additional districts that will come on board in the next year. And so that's a really exciting reality for us. We will see a lot of additional expansion in our existing school district partners. So we are really working on adding and building out the continuum of care in our district partners. So not just focusing on the middle of the continuum of care, which is where treatment lives, but really looking upstream and saying, how can we address the prevention, intervention, and screening needs that are paramount to meeting the needs of the kids and of the families in this community. And so that's everything from our mentoring program and expansion of eye care mentoring programs and services, to expansion of universal prevention programs and peer prevention services, to the institution of universal screening, which we're now doing in almost half of our school district partners, to look for and find those screening and screen kids for mental health needs before they're at a crisis point, to building capacity in our community like we do with you and the team at Love Akron when it comes to programs like mental health first aid and QPR. So we're really focusing a lot of our energy not just on reaching more school districts, but in looking at how do we service the districts that we're already in. And so I'm really excited to see how that continuum is going to continue to grow. We're serving kids younger and younger. So we are now providing early childhood mental health services. So that's really exciting to me to see us engaging with littles, 3s, 4s, and 5s, pre-kindergarten, again, giving us a head start and being able to build social emotional learning skills with small ones. The wraparound and family services. So we've done a lot to expand our family footprint and to work not just with the child in need of mental health services, but with the family system that surrounds that child. And then a lot of work in the trauma space, right? So we've just lived through, as you heard from Dr. Smith, this collective trauma that has been a pandemic. And when you layer that with the social reckoning that we have had relative to race in our community, when you add to that just the fatigue of some of the discord that's happened in relative to politics, we've had a really difficult year, not just here in Akron, but as a world. And so looking at how we step into that collective trauma space and build resiliency in ourselves and one another is a huge focus, both for us and our staff, and helping to make sure we're practicing good self-care and taking good care of our people. But then also in figuring out, how do we bring that message out to our community? How do we help others, those that are teachers in our districts? How do we help our community partners? How do we really build those resiliency skills in others? So I'm really excited. I'm hopeful for the future of where we're going. The work is enormous. It's daunting. Anytime I look at the list, when I look at the amount of kids who are being referred every day, to think of the need and to know that it doesn't seem to stop or to slow. There are just an enormous amount of young people and adults at this stage who are in need of additional mental health supports. Our 1 in 5, which we've used for forever. As we talk about mental health, we're now saying, gosh, maybe it's closer to 1 in 2, right? So maybe we didn't even go from 1 in 5 to 1 in 4. Maybe it's closer to half of us who are really in need of some additional mental health supports right now. And so the need is big, and we're really grateful to be walking into that work with incredible partners like you and incredible partners like the ADM board, who have really stepped in and stepped up in trying to figure out how do we provide more intentional services all across that continuum of care.
Yeah, really. I appreciate you saying that. Shout out to Amy Wade over at the ADM board.
Amen.
As she says, great partnerships there and all the great work that they're doing. I love, Megan, how you talked about, we get so caught up in the treatment, but we seldom talk about the intervention, the prevention, but also the recovery.
Yeah.
People are recovering from some of these mental health illnesses or challenges that they're having. And the one thing that I've always appreciated about you and it's just your optimism. right? Like we see it, we feel it oozing off the screen. You're a very optimistic person. That's one thing I love about you, and love connecting with you, because we're able to kind of sharpen each other's irons in a way. But here's the thing, Megan, we are in a place, in a state right now in our society where, because of what's been going on, man, I think our mental health awareness has shot up to where people are now identifying with some of the mental health challenges that are out there. If people are looking for help, how do they go about doing that with Red Oak, Megan?
Yeah, so it's a really great question. So, help can happen at any point in time across that continuum. The work that you and I do together with mental health first aid is really designed to help people to know where, when you engage with somebody, what does a mental health need look like? How might it manifest in a neighbor, in a friend, in someone in your church or in your school? And how do you get them linked to the right level of support? If what you need is treatment, so if you've said, gosh, I am concerned, I'm seeing symptoms of anxiety or elevated stressors in my life, I'm seeing prolonged periods of sadness or hopelessness, to be able to access services is as easy as giving a call. So you can call our offices here at 330-996-4600. If phone is not your jam and you feel more comfortable engaging electronically, you can also go directly through our website, which is redoakbh.org. And you can click on the little radio button that says that you're interested in being referred for treatment. And we can follow back up with you virtually that way. Access to care is pretty seamless here. So we're going to ask some questions about the presenting needs. So what's bringing you in and why would you need a service or an appointment? We're going to ask some basic information about health history, and we're going to find out some information about insurance coverage if you've got it. And then we're going to pair you with a therapist who's going to sit with you and walk through a diagnostic assessment, which is going to help us to know kind of what problem we're trying to solve together. And we'll build that treatment plan to figure out what we want to do about that and start the work together. If what you think you need is an intervention or a screening, if you think, gosh, I don't know what I need, but I'm just feeling a little lost, or maybe you're really excited about doing a mental health first aid training with myself or Kemp, you can still reach out through those same vehicles. There's a contact form. If you were going to go that route, you can use the contact form on our website, or you can just call that same number, 996-4600. Let our team know what it is you're looking for, and they'll make sure they get you connected and route you within the organization to get you access to the services that you need. Oh, look, there's the website. That's great. So we are not a crisis center. So here at Red Oak Behavioral Health, we don't do crisis services. So if you are in the middle of an emergency situation, so if you're feeling like you aren't safe, that you are in a situation where you might be a danger or a risk to yourself or others, and you need immediate help after hours, please contact 911. That's why they're here, or head to your nearest emergency room. And they can help to do some of that screening and assessment as well. Our office is open Monday through Friday. And so we are here. We continue to provide services both virtually and in person. So if you feel more comfortable engaging in a telehealth service, you can absolutely access telehealth services with our organization and engage in therapy from the comfort of your own home in your jammies, if that's what works for you. But we are open here at our office and would be happy to welcome you in here. We're going to ask you some basic COVID screening questions when you come here, and we are going to require with both our staff and our clients that everybody remains masked during the duration of a face-to-face session.
Megan, thank you so much for journeying with us all year long, and we look forward to continuing to journey with you and with Red Oak as we go into 2022. Hey, let me be the first to tell you Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you and your family, and safe travels this Sunday. And listen, Poly Blend, that's what I like.
Poly Blend, I know, I'm on the lookout. Hugs to you and to Stacy and the kids from us, and a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday to you guys too.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great day now.
Bye.
Man, this is our Partners Week. So, man, they're partnering with us. Just excited about the great things that are going on and what we're able to do with partners. And again, if you're one out there and you're just, man, the holidays are tough. You know, the holidays are joyous and a lot of good things are going on. But for some people, the holidays are tough. And I know in our family, It was tough 3 years ago. My sister-in-law unexpectedly passed away on Thanksgiving. And so I know what that feels like and what it means to where the holidays, if you will, with all the Jubilee and all the festivities, it's just not the same. And so, hey, if you need someone to talk to, please, 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 let's lean into that and let's get the help that you need so that you can get to recovery and get your wellness and your mental state back intact. Okay. Along those same lines, I'm going to bring on our next guest, who's going to be Tracy Carter. Tracy Carter, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea what Tracy's title is, but I just know Tracy is involved in everything. And she's always pulling me along to get involved in more stuff. And that's what I love about her. This is my sister. Tracy, how are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Kemp. Good to see you, Pastor. Thanks for having me on the program.
You see how she did me? She came on all slick and monotone. Hey, man, I'm good. How are you?
I appreciate the kind intro. I am where I need to be. That's all I would say.
That's right.
Trying to make a difference. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So, Tracy, I think it might have been, it wasn't 2 years ago. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Maybe it's 18 months ago when you said, hey, Kemp, listen, we would love for Love Akron to be a part of the grief recovery method. And without hesitation, I said, man, absolutely. We would love to help to spearhead, man, the grief recovery method and how we can really get involved in community and help. Here's the thing. I did not know, Tracy. I had no idea what the grief recovery method was or is, right? And so you've been able to teach me about that and what that is and what that means. Could you give us just a snippet to our audience about what grief recovery method is and what strides have we made in the year of 2021 to really, if you will, bring this into our community?
Absolutely. And good afternoon to everyone. And I do think this is a timely conversation given the previous speaker's discussion around COVID, which has caused many people to experience grief. We just Megan talked about mental and emotional support around just all that's happening in life. And so here we are, Love Akron, with the ADM board and SUMA working together to try and better prepare our community to respond in a healthy way to grief. And so the grief recovery method we launched probably about 18 months ago. We received a grant within the last year to essentially bring the grief recovery method to a broader segment of Akron, particularly African Americans who have historically and presently continued to endure a great number of losses. And so the grief recovery method is an international program that's been around for 40 plus years. The program is action oriented and is designed to help individuals move through incredible life losses. That includes death, divorce, relationship changes, health changes, financial changes in life, and also losses that are what we would consider to be intangible, like loss of security, safety, respect, dignity. All of those losses hurt our heart. And as a result of that, we experience grief. And so I am excited that Love Akron, the ADM board, and SUMA work together to prepare individuals across the community to be trained in the method so that whenever someone across the community says, I'm hurting, my heart hurts, I need help, we have people who are trained to walk people through a proven method to help heal their heart.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. It's been fun to learn about this, but also to meet some of the individuals that have been trained, that have become specialists, but also see the work that's actually happened within our community and looking at how, man, we're really meeting people where they are. So here's the thing, Tracy, tell me, what is the grief recovery method? What are we looking to do going into 2022? How are we looking, if you will, to kind of spread this out to get more people some of the resources and the help that they may need?
Thank you for that question. And I'll just say to the audience, in 2021, we did have a goal of training at least 10 leaders in the grief recovery method. We were able to actually invest in 15 people to be trained. So that's more access to emotional support for individuals and families across the community. So we now have 15 people who've actually done the work. They've gone through grief recovery themselves to discover what hurts them, to do the work to get better mentally and emotionally. And these individuals are committed to helping people who access Love Akron saying, I would like to receive emotional support. And so for 2022, the goal is to make sure the community at large is aware that Love Akron is on deck to receive inquiries about grief recovery method. If you go to the Love Akron website, under the About tab, there is a section called Grief Recovery Method. When you go to that page, you can fill out a form that gets some basic demographic information, and someone from Love Akron will follow up with you to connect you to a specialist who can meet you where you are. The grief recovery method is an 8-week process. You can work with your specialist on a date, time, place that works best for you. These specialists also have an ability to serve you virtually to keep you safe if you're not comfortable meeting while we're still moving through COVID. But these individuals are ready to serve the community. So 2022 is all about making sure the community knows Love Akron has these resources, have these specialists in partnership to serve the community. And then I think, too, we should let the community know that we're exploring how to expand the grief recovery training to other individuals, to more racially and ethnically diverse populations. And we want to continue to target the faith-based community, the leaders, those in ministry, those who are have a lot on their heart. And we want to make sure the method is accessible to them so they can do the work to heal their own hurt, their own pain, get stronger mentally, emotionally, and that equips them to better support the community with their health and social and general ministry needs.
Man, that's awesome. And let me say something. I'm not just sitting here because I'm the executive director of Akron, Coach Kemp, and I'm saying do this. Listen, my own journey starts in January where I'm going through the method with myself, with a specialist. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. Just had a meeting last Friday with the specialist who's going to be taking me through grief recovery, man. Because here's the thing, I got my own stuff inside that I need to emotionally unpack and get out. And to be honest with you, audience, I'm looking forward to it. So I know Tracy is proud of me because she's been saying, "Hey, Kemp, Pastor, you need to make sure that, hey, I'm signed
for a year,
up
for 12 months. I've been counting.
Yes. And so I met with my person last Friday. We got something down on the books. I'll be starting in January. So I'm excited about it. And on a personal note, Tracy, sister, I love you. Thank you so much for being an encouragement to me all throughout the year, helping me to connect some dots to some different things. Man, it goes without saying what you have meant for us as an organization, but also for me personally. So thank you so much.
Happy to serve, and I love Akron. So
come on now.
You all.
Love it. Merry Christmas to you and yours, sister.
I just use your brand. But I do wish you the best, God's best, and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And everyone, please stay well. Dr. Smith gave us great advice about how to best protect ourselves and our household. Mask up, be vaccinated, and then do the work that Megan said, the mental and emotional work, to stay strong mentally and emotionally so that we can go in a new year with our best selves present.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sister. Happy New Year to you. Miss you. Love you. We'll connect soon.
Thank you, Kemp.
All right now. Man, listen, just good people connected, doing really great things to do what? To love Akron. Man, this is like we got to create something, right? I know I got my people backstage listening, but man, we like need to turn this into Love Akron Live now, the verb, because that's all I'm hearing. All I'm hearing is how people have taken an idea or a concept and said, man, now we're going to go do it and do something so that we can bring health, wholeness, and healing and restoration to the people of Akron, man. And this is what Love Akron looks like it is. All right. So that's a great lead into my next person, man, my brother, a guy that's, man, been with us from day one, man, who I just love and just really admire, man. That's Greg Kovic. He is the CEO of Rahab Ministries, and bring him in because why? He is the epitome of noun to verb. He's doing it. He's doing exactly where he is. And man, his leadership of this organization at Rahab has been completely incredible. So Greg, man, welcome, man. How are you doing, brother?
So good. It's great to be with you, Kemp.
Man, it's always great to be with you. I feel
like we haven't spent enough time together. So I'm glad
brother,
to have
we ain't been together, man. Hey, man, you running now. You the man now.
I
You know
don't
what
know
I'm
about
saying?
that. Yeah.
Like you the man now. Like, hey, we dropped the whole interim CEO thing. He's the man now. He's the CEO of Rahab Ministries. Hey, man, well deserved, brother. One of these times you get on here, you got to bring the guitar, man. Like you got to play the songs, man.
You're the coach. Yeah, I'm whatever you say.
Man, great to see you. Hey, man, give us an update, man. Transitional housing. You updated us a little while ago about it, man. What are some of the successes that you're seeing? And then, too, man, what are you excited about, man, going into 2022 when it comes to Rahab?
Yeah, so much. I mean, so for the transitional housing program, remember we built that program because we had our adult safe house for 7+ years. Women were coming through there, experiencing healing, experiencing growth in education, in life skills, in so many areas of their lives. And then they were going back into the community and really experiencing kind of a shock to all systems because you're going from this residential program back into the community. And so we wanted to look at our program and say, how can we make it even better? We heard from Red Oaks earlier, and they're looking at their continuum of care, and they're looking at this middle section where the programming is happening. But she was saying, let's look upstream. And so at Rahab, we sort of did the other thing. We said, let's look downstream. How can we help them in the next step of their healing journey? And so we said, we need to provide some kind of case management, some relational support, some of these ongoing services outside of the adult safe house when they're in this independent living situation. We need to address housing. We need to address transportation. We need to address really like their career. And so over the past, in February coming up, February 22, will be a year since we had the first woman in our transitional housing program, but we've served 6 people. We're currently serving 6 people. And I'll tell you, Kemp, there have been situations over the last year in these women's lives that if there wasn't this relational support, if there wasn't this case management, if there wasn't this stable housing, if there wasn't this transportation, if there wasn't this job, they would have fallen back into the life. They would have got sucked back and trapped again in the life of trafficking. Situations like a relapse, that without that community around you, you wouldn't make it through. But since the community was there, it was a short hiccup to continue in the healing journey. Situations like financial burdens that if they came up and you were on an island by yourself, you probably wouldn't make it through. But we've seen impact even in year 1 in those 6 women's lives. Real quick, we've also expanded the program to reach 18 to 24-year-old transitional age youth, people that are aging out of foster care. Who's here? Who's helping? A lot of people are, and those are the people that you're connected with. These are the organizations that you brought on this program earlier. There are people in Akron who are looking to care for those 18 to 24-year-old transitional age youth, and Rahab's another one of those organizations. And so we are now currently providing case management and advocacy for 5 different young ladies, 18 to 24 years old, who it's an extension of our transitional housing program. And so if they want housing, they're on the path to get it. They may go to our safe house first, but we're involved in 11 people's lives in that program alone.
Man, that's awesome. Hey, let me tell you something, brother.
Go.
This right here is phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you.
Came into our office, I believe, yesterday. Lori called me. Is like, hey, Kemp, listen, I don't know who did this, but man, we got to do something like this. I love it, man. The call to commit, right? And I want to challenge all of our audience, man. And whatever it is that you're doing, hey, if you want to get in touch with Rahab, whether you want to get in touch with Red Oak Behavioral Health, whether you want to get in touch with, man, Grief Recovery, man, the call to commit, I think, is a great call for all of us as we go into 2022. It's a call to commit ourselves, man, from going from being a noun to a verb, right? Not just talking about these things conceptually anymore, but saying, no, man, how can we turn these things into a reality to really become a work to help to heal our cities, the individuals, the families that reside in those cities. And so, Greg, here's a question I want to ask, man, because I know, man, the year has been full of challenges. It's been full of challenges for you, been full of challenges for all of us. What's the one thing, a piece of advice that you can give any leader out there, man? It's been tough. It's been hard, especially within our nonprofit sector from a standpoint of resource and another thing. What's the one piece of advice, man, that you want to give that leader out there who is listening to say, hey, yep, 2021 has been this, but what's that piece of advice you want to give just to encourage them?
Wow. I'll speak from my own experience over the past year. I think that's what you're asking is do not underestimate the importance of the programs you heard of before I am speaking right now. The importance of addressing mental health, the importance of addressing grief recovery, the importance of doing your own work as a leader. There are so many demands on us as leaders in the community, and that internal storm. We need to learn a way to address that. Schedule the times of solitude, schedule the self-care, schedule the grief recovery, because you can only give what you have. And I would encourage leaders to go deeper in their own journey and their own healing, to really be able to give out of a place of abundance, rather than to give all we have left.
Man, that's good, brother. Man, listen, I said this, man. We were just doing a mental health first aid training 2 weeks ago over at the Well. And my great comment about self-care is this: if you don't self-care, will nobody else care, right? If you don't self-care, will nobody else care, man. And Greg, man, I know we're going to be connected here in the next few weeks, man. But remind me to tell you about, man, you said it, like mental health first aid training for adults who work with adults. Because just like you said, man, you got a staff over there. They're doing the work with a lot of these women and their families and their children. And man, their secondhand trauma is a real thing. You know, some of the stuff that they may be taking home mentally, man, to be able to unpack some of that. And man, I'd love to help to lead a training with you and your team, man, if that's something that you're interested in. But we'll talk about it as time goes on. Greg, brother, I love you, man. I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate, man, just our times of iron and sharpening iron, man. I know it's times when you'll call me or send me a text and it's just encouraging, man, because it's at the exact right time, brother. So, hey, love you, man. Love your team. Love what you are doing, man. Volume 2, man, pick it up. Hey, Greg, if people want to copy this, man, how do they get this?
Reach out to us. Our email should be coming on the screen, but it's easy. It's believe at rahab-ministries.org. You just reach out to us at Rahab. We'd love to connect, build new partnerships in the community, and we can hook you up with that full volume 2 edition of the Call to Commit.
Love it, man. Hey, man, I'm always ready, man. I'm always ready, brother. Hey, brother, let me first say, man, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you and your family. We'll be seeing you soon, man, and love you, brother. Keep on loving Akron, man, and keep on doing things that go from now to Verb, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Got it. Great to see you, Kev.
Yes, sir. Man, there you have it, man. Oh, man, let me just say this, man. God is so good, man. Love being able to do what I do. It's definitely a call. And it's something that I've committed myself to, even though, like I said at the very beginning, you know, the storms have been hard. It's been a challenging time. I celebrated 2 years at Love Akron, man, back in October. And I tell you all right now, man, the 2 years have been challenging. It's been tough. However, man, they have refined me as a man of faith. They've refined my character. It's refined me as a husband, as a father, as a coach, as a friend, as a brother. It's refined me. It's made me stronger. And so as we kind of wrap up, I just want to say again, thank you so much to our audience out there. We don't always get this right, but I believe that you all always know our heart behind what it is that we're doing. And we're excited that as we go into 2022, man, we're gonna revisit the black and white conversation, connection versus collision. We're gonna revisit it starting in February, to where we want to see, you know, man, because I told you all before, if we're gonna get into the talk of black and white conversation, race, connection versus collision, we're not doing it from a point your fingers, make an accusation standpoint. But man, I really want to see, where are we at? What do we see happening around us? And I want to bring on some leaders within our community across different sectors that have launched, if you will, different DEI programs and things that say, hey, listen, we are taking seriously this call to be more diverse and have more equity and inclusion into what we do. So we don't want to leave those things just sitting there on the vine. I told you all, if I'm going to get into this, then I'm not going to stop having the conversation as long as God has placed me in this seat. And yeah, is it fatiguing? Is it tiresome? Absolutely. But you know what, man? I eat my Wheaties and I drink my Gatorade and I take my vitamins and I pray and I read my word. So I'm built for this and I'm ready. So we look forward for you coming along on the journey with us as we go across Love Akron Live in 2022. So I want to wish everybody out there a happy holiday season, a happy new year. Be safe, take care of one another, take care of yourselves and your families. And remember, as always, just make sure that you what? That you love Akron. Go visit our website, loveakron.org. Become a part of our 50 by 50 giving team. I know we've been a blessing to you throughout the year. Please don't be afraid to bless us. Thank you so much and have a great day and a great holiday season and stay safe.